I'm super excited to talk CRM with you. It's something that's so important that I think that we oftentimes skip because we get so busy and we think, oh, we'll just come back to that. And the CRM is the foundation of your business. So I just want to dive deep with you and remember that it's important to go wide and deep in your CRM so that you have a long, profitable business. Part two of this is we really just want you to use the tools that you already have. Most brokerages provide a CRM. At Real, we get access to Chime for $40 a month. If you have a brokerage that's giving you a CRM and you've started using it, stay committed to that CRM, or if you're paying for something, use that. We don't want you to go spend another $500 a month or $400 a month on another tool that you may or may not use. So everything that we're going to go over today is how can be implemented into CRMs that you already have. And Heather and I are pretty good at stuff like this. So if you are in your CRM and you're trying to implement something that we talked about today and you can't quite figure it out, just schedule a call with one of us. I didn't tell Heather that I was volunteering her to do this today, but just schedule a call with either of us and we'll walk you through a workaround or help you find the best option so that you can use the tools that you already have. So let's talk about the brain dump. We have made this form, actually Heather made this form, and it's been really impactful in the business because we use it whenever we start a new project. We can write everything out that's on our mind or that's overwhelming us or stressing us out. But I've also started using the brain dump form every morning when I start my day. So typically for most agents, when we start our day, the first thing we do is grab our phone and go through our emails, go through our notifications, and immediately get overwhelmed with all the things that we need to do. And then those things get in the way of the important things of building our business, getting us to the next level. So I have a question for you. You can just throw it in chat. When you think of implementing your CRM, cleaning your CRM up, any of those things CRM related, what overwhelms you right now? What do you see getting in your way that we should just brain dump and get on this form? And I'm going to open up chat here so I can see some responses. And I'll tell you while we wait for responses to come in that some of the things that always end up on my mind, I start thinking about like who do I need to talk to? So I have a lot of who. And then I start thinking like, oh, I have Susie down the street. I need to call her. And then, oh yeah, her aunt talked to me. And then I get 4 or 5 who's, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then I just give up, right? And then I call Susie and then I give up. So we have in chat, we don't know how to organize the tags. So organization, that's spelled way wrong, but we'll just go with, we'll fix that here. And then we also have not sure of what categories of tags to make. So let's just go with tags because that's really important. Don't have a clear idea of how to use it. So use, we'll say, not sure. No real approach. So no plan maybe. Okay. I think these are really great ones. Oh, we also have an extra step in the morning. So making it part of your routine. Okay. So that's 5. I mean, that's a really good start of what we're thinking. So back on the brain dump. So as we go through this, there's going to be things that come up that you're like, oh, I should have thought of this, or I should have done this. So when that happens, just come back to your brain dump form, write it down, get it out of your brain so that you can focus on what you need to, and then move forward. So let's talk about who should be watching this webinar or who should be implementing this. I just saw that Jill popped on. Hi, Jill. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for coming. So this is going to be for you if you have the fear of change, if you're using one CRM and then you aren't sure what to do, or you already have your CRM started, but you feel like you've set it up incorrectly or it's not implemented right, so you don't change anything. If you don't have the time, or you feel like you don't have the time, if you're feeling overwhelmed or disorganized. So I put this picture in here because I felt like this really represented who I was when I was cleaning up my CRM over the last few months. So right here, this is me, this guy who's like just plugged into this one power strip and everything's going great. But then my CRM is over here. And it's just like a disaster. So you have this like fear of this mess that you don't necessarily have to be a part of, but it's part of your business. So we're going to go through it, make sure that you can get a really clear process and then move forward here. So let's go next. So when you go through this process, you have some really amazing opportunities that are going to happen. So the first one is you get to re-engage with all of the people that have worked with you before, or that you know, or know that you're in real estate, and you get to change the story that they're hearing. And they'll hear it from a professional because they trust you, they'll understand it, and they won't be sucked so far into the media of all the stories. Somebody posted on Instagram yesterday some headlines that had been released by a local newspaper, basically from 2015 through current day. And it was like, the market is peaked, the market is crashing. 2017, if you didn't buy now, you missed out. 2018, this is now the top of the market. 2020, this is the bottom of the market. And so when consumers are consuming all this information, it's just too much, versus when you get to be face-to-face with them because you've cleaned up your CRM, you get to be the voice of reason and help them through the things, and they know that they can rely and trust you. The second opportunity is you get to find all the gaps inside of your business. Once you have the CRM really cleaned up and you're operating efficiently, you find where you missed out on getting somebody on a mailing list, or they're not on your email list. And by finding these gaps, you're not spending any money, but you fill the gap, and then you've created an opportunity to increase your revenue. And then the last thing is you're going to learn who to connect with and when. And this is so important, because once you get it cleaned up and you start getting your plan in place of who you're going to connect with, what day you're going to connect with them, once a month, once a quarter, once a year, whatever that is, you've got the plan set up. And then you become the person who is top of mind. You become the agent. They're like, oh yeah, Heather's on the phone with me all the time. She's always telling me about some crazy story that came out and how that wasn't true, or how they skewed the data to make that story happen. And then when you get into that cycle or that system, you quit avoiding everybody. What happened for me was I was going through and just kind of like, oh, I should put them in my CRM. Oh, I should call John once a month. That guy wants to buy something. I told him I would call him, and then I never did. And then you're like, oh, I should call John today. But then you let everything else get in the way. And so then by not calling John, you're avoiding John. You start avoiding everybody because you don't have a plan in place, and you're not keeping your words to yourself and your clients or future clients on when you should be following up with them or touching base with them. So once you get it all cleaned up, you have the plan in place and you're avoiding no one, and you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. So let's talk about the 6 easy steps. So when somebody tells me something takes 6 easy steps, I'm like this guy on the left here, like the list is huge, it's overwhelming. The list seems bigger than life, but really I broke it down into a way that's easy to consume and it's easy to get through. And, step one is just open the CRM. It's kind of funny, but most agents don't even open the CRM, right? So if you can't get through step one, you're not going to get through 2, 3, 4, 5. So step one, open the CRM. Step 2 and 3, we only have to do this once or twice. We don't have to do this every day. 4, 5, and 6 are going to be the ones that take more time, and we need to spend more time and effort in them. So we're going to go over creating a marketing plan, determining your tag structure. That was a question that came up in the beginning of like, I don't even know how to start this. Find your 60, which is something that we're going to go really deep on, and it's really important for you and to grow your business. Fifth thing is you're just going to start with your 2022 closings. so that you can get into action and implementing and using your CRM. And then we'll talk about, once you get through 2022, what to do. And then the last step is just send that text. It's super easy. So open the CRM. Like I said, most agents don't even open their CRM. They don't have one that's organized, cleaned up. It's always that project that you say, I'll do that next week when things slow down. Or kids are on summer break, I'm going to do that once they go back to school. Just open the CRM each and every day that you're going to work, have it open, even if it's not quite cleaned up yet. If you have it open, you're starting to make an effort to clean it up, and it's going to feel really good. So like I said, have it open. You're going to thank me later on it. So let's dive into the marketing plan. So I have this in basically 2 columns. So things that are on the left, free. Things that are on the right, cost money. So let's talk about marketing plans and things that you can brainstorm that you want to implement in your business that are going to tie into your CRM and contacts. So first thing is weekly emails. Some people that we talk to do 3 emails a week, some do 4, some do 1. Pick something that you're comfortable with. And some ideas are quotes, problems that you've solved, Q&A topics, market updates. I send my market update religiously, 9:30 Friday morning. Everybody knows that it's coming. I write it Thursday night. I have time block so that I can digest the data, write a quick blurb, update the stats, and then it goes out. Once you write the template, it only takes you 10 or 15 minutes, but then you get to touch hundreds of people. The Q&A is really great. Heather has Q&A that goes out once a week. And then she also sends out Deal of the Week, which is the next one down. We call it DOW. So inside of Real, Sharon has done a lot of talking about sending out Deal of the Week. And this is just to engage your database, to let them know that you're out there working, but you're also providing deals that may be beneficial to them. So your Deal of the Week email could be your new listing, a brokerage new listing, anything that looks good, something that's truly a deal. If you're scrolling through MLS and you see something that you're like, oh, I should sell this to somebody because they're going to make a ton of money on it, you should send that out to your database. You should just say, here's something that I found today. Here are the specifics of it. Here's the money that I think can be made. Let me know if you want to buy it, or feel free to forward this on to somebody. So when you are doing these small emails out, they know that you're working, they see it. And then I think, so Heather just put in here, super powerful people that you had no idea were lurking, reach out to you. So that's in response, I think, to our Q&A talk. So she does say that when people are, she has a big database, and then somebody will respond. She had no idea that they were even in the market, but then they've responded to her because she's top of mind. The other part on Deal of the Week is builder inventory. So here in Denver, our builders right now are constantly running rate buy down promotions. They have some inventory that somebody built from dirt and then they canceled at the last minute. And so they'll be like, hey, we got to get this sold. We need it off the books before the quarter closes. So that means we have to close it this weekend or get it sold this weekend. We're taking $150K off the list price. That's an amazing deal that you can send out to someone in your CRM. Like, hey, this house is 150 under any of the other houses that have sold. Do you know anybody who wants to buy it? But you can't send these deals out unless your database is tight and clean. So that alone, hopefully, is motivation for you to get everything cleaned up. On the right, we have the things that cost money, but need to be tracked inside your CRM. So your monthly mailers. If you're doing monthly mailers, I would really love it if you have them automated through a separate company where you just have to keep the list clean. If you don't have it automated, you need to have it time blocked once a month that you're going in, making sure the list is clean and getting the mailer done so that it's consistent, because direct mail is super, super expensive. And if you're not consistent on it, you're not going to see any return. And then the bottom right, we've got the quarterly check-in. So this ties into the Find Your 60. And then this one is, I think, the most money that you're going to spend, but it's going to be the highest return on investment. And then also, it's going to get you connected with your people, have more face-to-face time. So tag structure. This is, I think, where most people get super overwhelmed when they are cleaning up their database or their CRM, not necessarily when they get started, because most people start to import people and they are like, okay, I'm going to tag this person seller or previous client or private client. And then they've got 4 or 5 tags that really mean the same thing, but they're not using any one of them, any one of the 4 consistently. So they can't consistently market to the people in their CRM. So let's talk about the different categories of the tags and what they mean. So the first thing here on the left is who they are. So are they my 60, which we're going to dive into in just a minute here? Are they a private client? One thing that was really big was for Sharon, as he's leading Real, he was like, can you guys quit saying past client? They're not dead, right? They're your private client. So I really had to train myself to say private client, but that language change is really great when you're talking with your private clients. They feel important. They feel like, oh, I'm his private client. Next thing is database. And then you've got vendors, referral partners, or just somebody who's a lead who you don't necessarily have a relationship with. They came in through online marketing or something like that. Next thing is going to be lead source. So we already know who they are, right? They're a private client, but where did they come from? Were they a referral from your 60? Did they show up from direct mail? Were they just a referral from somebody in your database? Were they online marketing, or did they come from a referral partner? Most of your people are going to come in one of these 5 categories in lead source. You can get more detailed on it, but once you get more detailed, you start overthinking it, and then you've got 5 or 6 tags that mean the same thing. So I'm a big fan of keeping the list small. Next thing that you're going to do is what they've done. So we have seller, and then we have 4 Ys. So I do seller hyphen and then the year that they sold. So it would be seller hyphen 2022, buyer hyphen 2022. This is super important that you print this sheet or you have this sheet in front of you when you're importing people or cleaning up your list, because this is where you can confuse yourself. You could do 2022 hyphen seller and then seller hyphen 2022. Those 2 tags mean the same thing, but if you swap them, you might miss out on somebody that you're trying to connect with. And the second part of this is you have to keep it clean, because eventually if you want to hand this task off to a VA or an admin or something, they need to know exactly how the structure goes so that they don't mess it up and things don't get disorganized. Next thing for what they've done is, do they own other investment properties, or were they simply an inquiry only? So they came in through a Facebook ad, and then they just inquired, nothing happened. So you would say they're inquiry only because they haven't done any business with you. They were from online marketing and we don't have a relationship with them. And then from there, you're going to decide what marketing plans you want to apply to them. So email plans, direct mail, invite to your client events are kind of the basic ones. You can go deeper. For me, I do for email plans, I just have 1 tag for email. So if you come into my database, you are on every email that I send out. Some people will segment their email list and say, I'm only sending market update to these people. These people get market update and deal of the week. These people get my Q&A and deal of the week. For me, just to keep things clean and easy, if you come in, you're getting every email from me. You're all in until you opt out. And then if you opt out, we're done. Direct mail is the same thing. If you're on my direct mail list, you're just getting all my direct mail. The only separation for that is GeoFarm. So my GeoFarm doesn't get necessarily everything that I direct mail, because those go to my private clients. And then of course, do I want to invite them to my client events if I'm doing client events? So this is the easiest way that we found to build a tag structure inside of a CRM. We're going to send this out to you afterwards, but You can, make small changes or big changes, I suppose, if you want, but you just really want to make sure you know who they are, where they came from, what they've done with you, and what marketing plans that you want to apply to them. Don't get too complicated because you're going to overwhelm yourself and then you're not going to use your CRM, and that's the worst thing that you can do. All right, so I've referenced it multiple times, find your 60. So there's some math behind this that will help you grow your business and think about things in a different way. So find your 60 means there are 60 people that you can touch once a quarter. Husband and wife would count as one, so you can't cheat yourself on that. But there's typically 60 working days in each quarter. So if you find your 60, you'll be able to touch those people in a one-on-one experience 4 times a year, and these people become your biggest advocates. So the math is you can do it once a quarter. It's 20 working days a month that you can do this. And when you're going through finding your 60 and figuring out how you're going to connect with them, I challenge you to try and squeeze your 60 into 2 months instead of 3 months, especially if your business is slower than you're expecting it to be. And if you feel like you're going to be homeless next week, I super challenge you to get your 60 done in 1 month. If you have nothing going on, the best thing that you can be doing is connecting face-to-face with as many people as you can in 1 day. So find your 60 is kind of the same style of the brain dump that we did at the beginning. So I just print this sheet out. I have 2 of them because there's 30 boxes on each sheet. And you'll notice each box has a line through it. So before I go into start cleaning up the CRM, I start thinking about who I want to have my 60 be. So I'll write that on the top line or the upper section of the box. So I see that Matt Thomas jumped on, so I'll say Matt is one of my people. We have Jill here, Heather. I'll write myself, whoever, Tom, Susie. So you brain dump who you think your 60 people are going to be, the people that are already your advocates, people who are referring you business. The people at the top of the list need to be the ones that when they go to dinner with their friends or their spouse, and they're just having dinner and they hear somebody 2 tables over and they say, oh, we're getting ready to sell our house, or we're thinking about buying something else, where they get up and they go, oh my gosh, I need you to call Matt Thomas right now. I need you to call him because he's the best realtor that you're ever going to hire. And they take that person's phone and they call you, Matt, and say, okay, you need to talk to this person. Those are the type of people that are your 60, the ones that will cheer for you, advocate for you no matter what. And if you can't quite get to 60, that's okay. But you really want to be growing this top 60 list and loving on them the most inside of your CRM. The bottom part of the box is what you'll fill in when you make an appointment with your 60 to either have coffee, lunch, dinner, cocktails, whatever that's going to be. So you'll come back to this as you work on building the CRM out or cleaning up the CRM. Okay. So we have brain dumped our 60. We've brain dumped what's overwhelmed us. We've developed the marketing plan and we've developed our tag structure. So once you have all of that, then you can start implementing cleaning up the CRM or entering new people in your CRM. So what I say is start with your 2022 closings. If you have those in a spreadsheet somewhere or a list, just pull that list up. If you don't have those, just go into MLS, pull your sales history, download it onto a spreadsheet, and just start at the very top. Whatever MLS puts at the top of the list, just start there. So you're going to make sure that you have that person, first of all, in the CRM. You have their contact information, emails, phone numbers, the addresses. And then from there, you will apply the tags that you need to apply the tags that you want to tag them. And then if they're going to be part of your 60, then you'll move on to the next step. So this is where the analysis paralysis sets in. So you've downloaded the sales for 2022, and then you're like, okay, this person sold on 123 Main Street I don't have their forwarding address. I have one of their emails. Okay, I need to get this information. So you go track that information down, and then you enter it in the CRM. And then you decide, okay, this is the marketing plans that I'm going to apply to them. So these are the tags that I'm going to use. And then you're like, okay, that took me 25 minutes to get one person done, and I have 19 more to go. So you start going, oh my gosh, okay, this is going to take so much time. And then you go to the next one, and then you don't have any information from them. And then you're like, oh gosh, here I am. Like, I totally messed this one up. And then you overwhelm yourself, and then you're like, why did I mess this up? And then you start going into analysis paralysis, and then you give up and you say, I'll come back to this. And then you never do. So step one is commit to only doing 4 or 5 a day. Most people are going to tell you, get through a whole year or get through 100 contacts this week and get it cleaned up. And I'm here to challenge you on that, to think about it differently. And this is going to sound a little snarky, and I don't mean it that way, but if you have gone 4, 5, 6 years with a CRM that's kind of a mess, but kind of operating, taking your time and getting everything in here accurately and completely, and if it takes you 6 or 7 weeks, isn't going to put you out of business, because you've already been doing it this way for so long. So I really want you to take the time to get it really nice and clean and tight and get all the information in there. Even if you can only get through 2 or 3 a day, that's so much more valuable than trying to cram in 100 and then giving up on day 3 and then coming back to it next year. So in order to prevent overwhelm, again, we're going to use the brain dump. As you go through things, if you think of something that you want to come back to, or you say, oh, the seller on 123 Main Street was referred to me by John. I haven't talked to John since 2019. Most people will then just go to John and the contact records and then try and update them. And then they get down this rabbit hole. Instead of doing that, just put John on your brain dump form and then continue down your 2022 closings so that you're staying focused and you get things done. And when you have those little wins of getting things done, you'll be more motivated to finish it up. So the last thing on preventing overwhelm is just find your MLS sales. Start there instead of trying to rack your brain of what business you did in 2022. Once you start going through it, you'll start remembering, oh, this person was a new build, so it wasn't an MLS or things like that. And you can just drop it on the brain dump form. Okay, so let's go through actually implementing this. So you've got your 2022 listing or your sales. You wrote down people that you want on your 60. So you're going to start with the search right here, which we've already done. Next question you're going to ask yourself is, do I want to talk to them again? I think that this is a really important question that you need to ask yourself. So many times we do business with people, and at the end of the transaction, we're just like, oh my gosh, I will be so happy if I never have to speak to them again. But then you feel obligated that you have to invite them to your client events, or you need to ask them for their business in the future. And the truth is, there are so many transactions happening in every marketplace. The sandbox is big enough. If you hated working with them, or you can't deal with them as a person, don't waste your time on them. Spend time with the people that are your 60 that you really want to go deep with, who are going to refer you business of people that are like them, so that you can really enjoy your business. So if the answer is yes, I do want to talk to them again, our next step is then to verify all the information is in the CRM, and then tag them appropriately for the marketing plans that you want them to get. Once you've done that and you want them to be part of your 60, just send them this quick text. It's super easy. Hey, David, it's been too long. I hope life's going well. Do you have time for coffee next week? Or do you have time for lunch? Or do you have time for fill in the blank? One of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to respond and say, hey, great to hear from you. No, sorry, I don't have time next week. How does, next Wednesday sound? Or they're going to, so first they're going to, say yes or no, I'm in, or they're not going to respond. And from there, you can decide what to do. So if they respond and they say, yes, let's grab a Starbucks at 9 o'clock on Thursday, go back to your 60 and you fill in, I'm seeing this person Thursday at 9 a.m. And then you know that and then your next 90 days, you need to see that person again on Thursday. Ideally, you want to build the same schedule to make it easy for yourself. So if it's the first Thursday of the first month of the quarter. Just keep that consistent so that you can touch your 60 easily and consistently, and you've got a system in place. Now, if they don't respond, you can follow up with them again, like, hey, did you want to do something? Did you get my text? Whatever. I don't read too far into the responses because, first of all, if you've never done it before, people are going to feel like it's automated or it's spam. So don't take it personally. You can call them the next day if they don't respond, or send them an email or something, because eventually they're going to respond. If they wanted to, if they enjoyed working with you, they will start to give you something in return as far as a response goes. Now, if they never respond, you could probably take the hint on that one that they don't want to talk to you again, and you can just drop them into your direct mail or your email campaign, because if they're not responding, they're right here in this little diagram with you. So from there, once you get everything set up and you start rolling on these texts, this is why I want you to only do 3 or 4 a day, or 2 or 3 a day, because if you're trying to get through 20 text messages to schedule a lunch or a coffee with somebody, you're going to overwhelm yourself and then you're going to give up. The other part of this is, I talk to a lot of agents who are talking about, doing some sort of online lead campaign or buying Facebook ads or Google ads. And you really have to spend a lot of money to get enough leads in your system to be profitable. If you look at doing 60 people and spending $500 a month, that's $25 per appointment. And you can't get good traction on $500 a month on pay-per-click or Facebook ads. I will argue with you on that all day long. But if you take $500 a month and you spend $25 on each appointment, you're getting face-to-face with people who love you and want to work with you and want to refer you business. I think the money is much better spent there. And then you'll have a super clean CRM because you're keeping all these appointments. So it's a win-win for you and your business by doing it this way versus spending a lot of money on Facebook ads or pay-per-click. So I've got 2 notes for you as we finish this up. Number 1, people love to feel important. Our private clients love to feel like we appreciate them, we remember them. And when they feel that love and that appreciation, they want other people to feel it. So we owe it to ourselves and our business to make sure that we've tightened up our CRM and we're loving on the people that love us and respect us, because that'll help our businesses grow. And there's so many people out there who need really great agents to serve them, especially as we go through this wild market that we're in. We don't need them working with the clowns. So in order to prevent them working with the clowns, they need to work with us, which means we need to have our CRMs dialed in perfectly. So when we make them feel important, we have to do it by having organization in place and having a plan. So that goes back to making sure your tag structure is great, and that ties into your marketing plan. And then when you're organized with it, you're going to be unstoppable. So that's what I have to say about getting your CRM cleaned up. If you're struggling with where you should be getting it done, or your tag structure is a little weird and you don't want to change it, or you just need some workarounds because you're using any CRM, schedule a call with Heather or I on the email that goes out, and we'll jump on a Zoom or something with you for 20 or 30 minutes and walk you through that and try and help you out the best that we can. So these will be the resources that go out: the Find Your 60, the Brain Dump, and our recommended tag structure. We're also going to send you a link to the recording. And then the last thing, we love GoodLife. Heather and I are working on growing GoodLife. It's a great community for real estate agents. Obviously, we're working inside Real. So if you have any questions about GoodLife, you want to join GoodLife or join Real, or just want to have a talk about real estate, this is our jam. This is what we love to do. Feel free to reach out, send us a message. We'd love to talk with everybody.